Have you ever had to make a choice where what's best for you feels like you're letting down the place you came from? It's this really tough personal dilemma that millions of people face every single year. And honestly, it's at the absolute heart of how the world's talent moves around the globe.
So to really get this, we need to meet Anya. She's a brilliant civil engineer. And for her, leaving home wasn't just about getting a better salary. This quote really says it all. It was about escaping the slow, certain death of her own potential. It was a fight for survival, really, the survival of her own skills in a place that just wouldn't let them grow. This is where the real story of profit and loss begins.
All right, let's get into it. To understand these huge global forces we're talking about, we first have to zoom way in, right down to the personal calculation that someone like Anya has to make. We need to look at what's pushing her out the door and what's pulling her toward a brand new life.
Okay, so picture this. Anya is standing on the half-built Kavar Bridge. She's the lead engineer, and she spotted a major design flaw, something that could be catastrophic down the line. She's got the solution, she's done the math, but her boss, he's a political hire, and he just kind of shrugs, telling her to stick to the original plan. This wasn't just a frustrating meeting for her, it was her everyday reality. Her talent was being completely wasted.
So what happens is, this incredibly complex life decision, it just boils down to a simple, almost brutal math problem. On one side, you have all the push factors. Her wages have flatlined, not nearly enough for her father's hip surgery. The healthcare system is a mess. The political situation is getting shakier by the day. And on the other side, well, those are the pull factors. The chance to earn 5 times her salary, the promise of actually being respected for her skills, and just stability. I mean, what would you do in her shoes? It's not much of a choice, is it?
So, Anya packs her bags. And just like that, her deeply personal choice becomes one more data point in this massive global game. So let's zoom out now and see how her journey is just one piece of this giant, high-stakes trade-off of human talent. The classic term for this, and you've probably heard it, is brain drain. It was a term that was actually coined way back to describe British scientists leaving for North America after World War II. And it perfectly captures this feeling of loss, right? The idea that a country is literally being drained of its most precious resource, its brain power.
And this is the traditional way of looking at it, like a zero-sum game. On one side, Anya's home country is experiencing a brain drain. That's a loss. They lose her talent, they lose the money they invested in her education, and they lose her future innovations. On the other side, her new country gets a brain gain. That's a win. They get a highly skilled worker ready to contribute from day one, often without spending a dime on her university degree. So one country's loss is the other's gain. Simple as that.
And the scale of this loss for some countries is, well, it's just staggering. Look at places like Haiti and Jamaica. The brain drain is so intense that over 80% of their college-educated workers leave the country. Just try to wrap your head around that. How do you build a modern hospital or a tech industry when 8 out of every 10 of your experts are gone?
Now flip that coin over and look at the scale of the gain. In a place like the United States, immigrants are responsible for filing patents at twice the rate of native-born citizens. They are a massive engine for innovation. So you see the trade-off? While one country is losing the people who build its bridges, another is gaining the people who are inventing its future.
Okay, so Anya lands in Canada. She's optimistic, she's ready to go, she's got her permanent residency, a decade of top-tier experience, a master's degree, but the reception she gets from the job market is not what she expected. She's about to run headfirst into a really frustrating paradox.
This is what a hiring manager actually tells her. Your portfolio is amazing, he says, but you don't have any Canadian experience. And there it is, the classic catch-22 that traps so many skilled immigrants. You are recruited for your amazing international experience, but now that you're here, you're told it doesn't count. And you can't get the local experience without a job. It's a closed loop.
And this leads us to a whole other concept, brain waste. It's this tragic, super inefficient outcome where a country does a great job at attracting top talent, that's the brain gain, but then totally fails to use it. It's the neurosurgeon driving a cab, the architect working security. It is a massive loss for literally everyone involved. And the data here shows this isn't just Anya's story. The numbers are frankly shocking. In some of the world's most developed countries, a huge chunk of highly skilled immigrants are overqualified for the jobs they have. I mean, look at Canada, more than half of them. This isn't just a few people falling through the cracks, it's a huge systemic failure to use human potential. And that brings us right back to Anya. Her professional reality is no longer the Havar Bridge, it's a coffee shop downtown. To make ends meet, she has to take what's called a survival job. The engineer who managed massive infrastructure projects is now being taught how to properly steam milk. Beyond the personal humiliation, it's just a huge waste. The brain drain from her home country has just become brain waste in her new one.
But hold on, it would be way too simple to just end the story there. Because this whole drain idea, it's not just a one-way pipe. There are these powerful counterflows of money and knowledge going in the opposite direction, and they really complicate that simple picture of profit and loss.
Let's just start with this number. In 2023 alone, migrants sent $656 billion back to their home countries. Now, to put that into perspective, that is more money than all foreign business investment and all official government aid combined. This isn't just cash, it's a lifeline. It's money that goes directly to families to pay for school, to start small businesses, to build a house. All this has led economists to think about this in a new way, not as a drain, but as brain circulation. It's more of a cycle. So step 1, someone like Anya leaves and learns new skills. Step 2, she sends money home and builds international connections. And step 3, eventually she, or at least her knowledge and capital, might return home to build new things. It totally reframes migration from a permanent loss to a dynamic, flowing system.
And here's where it gets really wild. This is a totally counterintuitive effect. Turns out, just the possibility of moving abroad can create a brain gain back home. For example, when the U.S. opened up more visas for nurses, nursing school applications in the Philippines went through the roof. And get this, for every one nurse who actually made it to the U.S., the system back home produced 9 new nurses who ended up staying. So the net result? A huge increase in the number of trained nurses in the Philippines.
So, okay, we've got brain drain, brain gain, brain waste, and brain circulation. At the end of the day, Anya's whole journey, from the stalled bridge project to the frustrating coffee shop, is really just a symptom of a much deeper imbalance in how opportunity is spread out across the world.
This ledger really pulls it all together. For the home country, yeah, there's a big loss of talent and investment, but there's also a profit from all that money being sent back, and the potential for a brain gain. For the new country, there's a huge profit from all that innovation and growth, but a loss from the inefficiency of brain waste. It's clear there are no simple winners and losers here. It's way more complicated.
And that's why context is absolutely everything. The effect isn't the same for everyone. For smaller, poorer countries, it is often a devastating net loss, no question. But bigger countries, like India or the Philippines, have figured out how to turn this into a strategic advantage, almost like a human capital export industry. And the most important part? None of this is set in stone. The final outcome really depends on the policies that governments choose to put in place.
Which brings us to the big, final question. When we step back and look at this entire complex system, this global maze of talent and ambition, what are we really looking at? Is it a pathway that helps spread prosperity across the world? Or is it a system that, in the end, just makes the gap between the rich and the poor even wider? The answer, I think, is still being written, one journey, just like Anya's at a time.